Here's a warm, funny, hopeful bedtime story. Gentle, joyful, and full of faith. Perfect for drifting off with a smile. Once upon a glowing twilight, right when the sky forgets whether it wants to be purple or gold, there was a tiny town named Ticklewick. Ticklewick was famous for exactly three things. One, giggleberries, which tasted like strawberries, watermelon, and a joke you haven't heard yet. Two, the world's friendliest fireflies, who blinked in polite Morse code. Three, a very small but very enthusiastic choir of frogs who sang every night, loudly, sincerely, and only somewhat on key. But the greatest treasure in Ticklewick was a little girl named Pippa Bumblebright. Pippa believed God loved surprises. Not big surprises like birthday ponies, but small surprises like the moment you realize your socks match by accident, or when a cloud looks exactly like a sandwich. She thought these tiny joys were heavenly winks. One evening, as the frogs warmed up for their nightly concert, the tenors arguing with the baritones again, Pippa noticed something odd. The giggleberry tree was drooping. This was alarming. The giggleberry tree never drooped. It normally sat upright like an extremely polite but excitable butler. But now its branches sagged, and its berries were dim, like they'd forgotten the punchline to their own jokes. Pippa gasped. Then she did what she always did when something looked too big for her to fix alone. She whispered, "Okay, God, I'm listening. What's the plan?" A tiny wind puffed her hair. A firefly blinked hello in Morse, and the giggleberry tree dropped a single berry at her feet. "Ah," she said, "a clue." She picked it up. It felt warm and hopeful, like morning sunshine. Pippa smiled. "All right," she said. "God, I'll follow." The berry rolled and rolled and rolled, right into the frog choir. "Presenting," croaked Maestro Krokowitz, the conductor. "A berry? For us?" "No," Pippa giggled. "For a journey. I don't know where yet." The frogs, being naturally curious and also terrible at staying out of adventures, joined her immediately. They followed the berry down to the river, where the water shimmered with soft silver light. The berry hopped into a little hollow at the riverbank, almost like a key sliding into a lock. There was a soft shim. The water brightened, swirling with colors like melted rainbows, and a warm voice drifted out, not loud, not scary, just true. "Thank you for noticing what drooped." Pippa blinked. "God?" The river sparkled as if smiling. "Yes, child. Sometimes the small wonders wait for someone small enough to see them." Pippa's heart glowed. "What happened to the giggleberry tree?" she asked. "It forgot it was loved. Even joyful things need reminders." Pippa nodded. She understood that very deeply. "How do we help it?" The river rippled gently. "Give it what you already carry." Pippa thought about that. What did she carry? She wasn't strong like the blacksmith. She wasn't tall like the mayor. She wasn't wise like old Granny Twillip. But she was good at one thing. "Hope," she whispered. The river gleamed. The frogs harmonized, for once. And Pippa held the berry close to her heart until it glowed like a tiny sunrise. When she placed it back at the foot of the giggleberry tree, the branches perked up. The berries brightened, the whole tree straightened, gave a delighted shiver. And here's a warm, funny, hopeful bedtime story. Gentle, joyful, and full of faith. Perfect for drifting off with a smile.